So, one, thank you again for joining me for this astrology talk because I'm just trying to get the word out there as to why I feel like more people should look to astrology. I saw a tweet. I saw a tweet that was like Scorpios always want to think somebody's going through something, and I'm like, because they are, because everybody is.
Everybody is.
Everybody's going through something. And so I think, there's some of us like have good poker faces and we can hide it. But astrology for me has really helped me understand myself on a deeper level, because there are, over the years, of course, especially in school, college, like people will say things about you or say things they don't like about you or something, and then you start to feel like a little bit insecure, or well, maybe I should stop doing that thing because this person said it was annoying, or this person said, it wasn't right. And when you learn yourself, you'll learn like, well, no, I am like this. Like, this is my
That's me.
gift. So I wanted to, because your name has a zodiac sign in it. So, and
Which I did not choose. I did not choose to put that a part of my name at all. Somebody else, another poet, like an OG poet, named me just Gemini. And I was just like, I really like my name, Richelle. So I'm going to go with that because when I went to college, I went for broadcast journalism. And I was going to go with Richelle Allison. And Allison's my middle name. So in case I got married one day and wanted to give up my name, I wasn't going to have to hyphenate it and make him feel all sad and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll go with Richelle Allison. And then when the poetry stuff started happening and people started calling me Gemini, I missed out on 2 shows because people were trying to find me online as Gemini. And I was just like, okay, Richelle Gemini it is. So that's how I even got the name. But I didn't start getting into astrology heavily until like 2016. That's when I started diving in and being like, wait, that's me. Wait. Oh, I have a
What
moon.
was that thing? Like, what was the one thing that got you? You just like opened a book one day, or do you remember what was the thing that kind of got you into it?
I was going to the I was going to the Shrine of the Black Madonna out here,
Mm-hmm.
to the black market,
Mm-hmm.
and I was getting crystals, and I started taking up a yoga class through some people out there. And I remember them one time I walked in, and it was just like daughter of Oshun, and I was just like, what? And they were just like daughter of Oshun, and I was just like, okay, let me go look this up. And this is before Beyonce did all the whole, you know, the whole like homage to Oshun and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, okay. And then those same people was just like, what's your moon? And I was like, what do you mean? And then they were just like, Michelle, you have a sun, moon, rising, this, that. And I was just like, I don't know. And it was like, let's do your birth chart. And I started doing my birth chart, and I was just like, that's why I'm not like all Geminis that I know. Okay, I have a Libra moon. Oh, I have a Pisces rising. Oh, okay. And then I told you when I was at your event, it was like houses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I need to really start digging into these houses because every time I learn more and more and more about myself. Like maybe if I started at 3 years old, I'd probably know myself by 18. But now I'm over here in my 30s, like, that's me. Okay, that's me.
Yeah, I think people, well, I think most people understand astrology on like a surface level type, like you said, like you're a Gemini, and then like they think, well, that's it, or they don't believe in it because they're like, well, I'm a Gemini, she's a Gemini, and we don't act the same, and so astrology's fake, and they don't know the depth of it. Like your moon sign, yes, is your emotional sign. Your rising sign is how you appear to people, before they really get to know you, and how you kind of present yourself to the world. And then the houses, like I said, each house in astrology represents a different area of life. So where is your sun sign? Is it in the first house of self? Is it in the fourth house of family? Is it, so that all makes a difference with your personality, what you kind of value, what you put more emphasis on. Some people care a lot about social activism or something, and that's not like a thing that the next Gemini cares about that much. And so I think that's why I want people to learn it, because it's been, let's say, a lot of truths have been hidden from us. Like a lot of truths have been hidden, and it's been demonized. And I grew up Catholic, and so
My mom did.
Yeah, so they were like, stay away from that, it's the devil, and now that, and I felt scared, like when I would go to this grocery stores trying to look at a magazine or something, like I'm not supposed to be looking at this, but it was nothing like, I don't know, I just didn't know why, I just felt shamed and
Oh,
felt,
is your Catholic family superstitious too?
I don't think it was so much like my family, because it was just like I just went with my mom, but she never
Oh,
said
okay.
anything. She's a Sagittarius, and so Sagittarius is the start of the spiritual journey, the last four signs of the zodiac: Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. So if you have those placements or more of those placements, you're more like spiritually inclined usually.
Mm,
And so she was going to church. We were all going to church, but she never said it. I just would hear it. The church says, the Bible says, don't look at that kind of stuff. Or, I don't really know a specific time when somebody was like, that's bad or that's evil. But, within my own self, I learned through my students. My students, the Gen Z is all into
right,
spirituality and whatnot. And so they are born under Sagittarius energy. We're born under Scorpio energy and they're Sagittarius. And so they're the ones that are like crystals and, all that. Like to them, it's nothing. They're not going to,
right,
they're not
right.
going to church.
They're not going.
Church is not a thing for them. So, but I did want to ask you a question. So, because you're, a Gemini, what do you think, what would you say about Gemini that you feel is like super spot on, even though you are, but what do you hear and what do you like kind of embody and show people every day that this is Gemini spirit, this is Gemini energy?
Well, if people was around me
Hmm.
all day, they would see how like I'll be very quiet and in my head, and then when I go out and people see me, like if they see me quiet or in my head, they're like, Richelle, what's up? Are you good? And I'm just like, oh no, we good.
Yeah.
Eh,
The
because
twins.
in my head I'll be maybe somewhere, but I'll be thinking of something,
Mhm.
and people will think I'm like just down. I'm like, no, I'm really thinking about something I was looking at earlier. Or they'll just that like both of those sides. I was trying to tell my uncle the other day at Halloween, I was just like, I think I'm an introvert. He was like, no, you're an extrovert. You just enjoy your alone time. And I was just like, no. Sometimes I feel like an introvert. Sometimes I want to walk in somewhere and just be like, I'm gonna just go sit in the back and trying to see what's going on. But it never can happen because it's just like, Gemini. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, how you
Yeah.
doing? Yeah, what's up? You
Patty.
good?
Did you ever have a moment in your life where somebody said you talk too much? Because Gemini is a
Yes.
communication sign.
I've had so my cousin is a Sagittarius, and she didn't say I talk too much. I remember we was about to walk in somewhere, and she was just like, Richelle, try to limit your conversations to certain people to a certain amount of moments because we trying to make moves, like we on a mission. She was just like, so don't let them start telling them your whole life, because people had this thing where they just start telling me their whole life, and I'll just be sitting there like, wow, I mean, what do you think that means? And
Yeah.
what do you think that, like, how do you feel? And I'll just start going in with it, and she'll just be like, okay, we gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. She was just like, you don't have to help everybody. You
Yeah.
don't have
Well,
to talk to
that's
everybody.
your Pisces. The Pisces, water signs, people they just like trauma dump on them. Or like they'll just tell you stuff, but the Gemini is like, talk, 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 keep going, keep going.
See, I literally was at a spot and it was like, oh man, I'm trying to hear this song. And then somebody comes up to me and be like, Richelle, your music helped me. And let me just tell you, when I first met you, I had a wife and I had this and I had that. And then, my wife dumped me, I lost my job. And I'm over here like, I just wanted to go, I wanted to go hear this song right quick. I didn't know you was about to come tell me this.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm your therapy right now. And a lot of the times I surrender to it because I feel like, I want people to be there for me whenever I have stuff to talk about. So I was just like, maybe they didn't have nobody they could say that to. So if I got time today, then I'm gonna do it.
Mhm. I always ask people who are like Pisces, Scorpio. I mean, I'm Scorpio rising, but you and I are rising water signs. Like, you would be like, why are you telling me this? Why are you like, I'd be like, why are you confessing your crimes to me? Why are you telling me your secrets? Like, why do you think I can help you? Like, what am I giving to you that you feel like I can tell this person? They're a complete stranger, but I trust them. Does it be like
Right.
strangers too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember with my first son's dad, we were walking. This is me in college. This is me, and this lady, she's like moving her son into the apartment complex I was working at, and she stopped us, and she was just like, "I feel like I need to tell you something." And he just looking at me. He was like, "Do you know her?" I said, "Did you need something from the office?" She's like, "Oh, you work here?" I was just like, "Yes, ma'am." She's like, "No, no, 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 no. There's something on you. You're anointed. I feel it right now." And I'm over here just like, "Thank you." And she
Yeah.
was just like, "No." She was just like, "I had this thing that happened whenever I was a child. I met somebody with your energy and I saw how they took their life. But I had to tell, I not took their life, but like took their life to the next level. No, not
Yeah.
took their life. But this," she said, "I want you to know where you're headed right now. You're anointed." And I was just like, "Thank you." And I walked off, and then somebody else was telling me about their life. And I'm just like, and he would be like, "Niggas just want to tell you everything." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm not trying to get told nothing. Like, I don't even have a face. Like, come here. Like, come
Yeah.
tell me." So, it happened. It's happened for a long time since I was young. And sometimes it would be um, like in school, it'd be like teacher's pet. But the teacher was just telling me about their life. And I was just like, I get A's because I'm smart, but the teacher just wanted to confide in me and tell me, like, this is what happened and da da da. I don't know why I'm telling you. You don't even understand. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay. So this happened for so long that I don't even think about it in a certain way. Plus, my dad is a pastor. So
Mhm.
he gets people coming to tell him stuff all the time. So I just be like, maybe I just got his energy on me where people just feel like I can come tell them and now I feel better. So
Yeah. Speaking of your dad, I saw that video yesterday. I was like,
the
this
crazy part is
man,
I got so many videos of that.
I
So many
think
videos.
I was like, either he has to be a Gemini or a Leo, one of the two, because my dad's a Leo and they like to show out.
He
I said,
does.
and did the splits.
And that wasn't even one of the good splits that he did. Like I have a whole nother video where he killed the splits. Like I think that was Christmas time, and we had like a whole. We always meet up as a family just to be together. And I'll get people DMing me like, "I can't believe you celebrate these holidays and da da da." I said I celebrate being with my family. Okay, I want to be with my family. They already know all of my beliefs. They know everything. I've been very honest with them, but I'm still not gonna be like, "Peace, y'all. This is
Yeah.
me," and da 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 da. Like I enjoy my family. As you can see, that's how my family acts around each other. So, yeah, I have several videos of him doing that. We even have, I don't think I have that one on video, but it was at a family reunion. He did it and split his pants, and my mom, being the Cancer, was right behind him, like, "We got another pair."
Taking care.
Yes, she's perfect for him because
Yeah.
she's just like, we used to be in the club and you could have swore everybody came to see him the way he got in the middle of the club. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, you sound happy about that. So that's what's up.
How long have they been together?
Since they were 15 and 16.
Oh, so a Cancer and a Leo. So I actually had this conversation yesterday with somebody, and I was telling them, sun sign doesn't really matter whenever it comes to compatibility. Not that it doesn't matter because you still are that sign. But as far as like astrology, they say like water goes good with earth and air goes good with fire. But
Oh,
it's the rest of the chart that matters as far as like compatibility, like your Mars sign for the man, like how he loves in a relationship. The Venus is how the woman loves in a relationship. Like, do those signs, are those compatible as your
okay.
yeah, like if your communication sign compatible, especially the communication sign. Like for me and you, we're air signs, we like intelligence. And
Yeah.
your Mercury sign is, as far as like, like I said, like boyfriend, girlfriend level, starting off with, communication is important in relationships.
Thanks.
But if you're on two different mindsets, because Aquarius is like in the future, I'm talking about AI, I'm talking about aliens, I'm talking about, and you got, a Taurus, all you want to talk about is food and, getting the Rolls Royce and, tangible money things. Like we're on two different like mindsets.
It's
So,
so true. I had to realize why I did not get along with them because I'm a person that's just like, I'm never gonna be mean, but
mhm,
I'm gonna be like, I don't think we're on the same
yeah, but
wavelength
yeah,
at all. And I think we should catch a fade, like, and just chill.
yeah,
Like, we ain't gotta fight, but we should definitely just separate.
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
I don't want to make them mad because they feel like I'm not on their stuff, so they get more stubborn. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not telling you to be a part of my stuff.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think we should.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling people, like, you gotta learn this. It's not that something's wrong with you. And that's how I took it before I started learning astrology. I took it like, I had a guy one time tell me, "Oh, you talk about politics too much." And I was like, maybe I do, maybe I should stop. Maybe that's annoying people or whatever. But then when you learn astrology, you're like, astrology, an Aquarius, it's ruled by Saturn, and Saturn
Right.
is the planet of government. And so politics, and especially where I have certain zodiac signs placed in my chart, like it's the politics house. And so like, why do I
Right.
always look at, I just like debate. It's not so much like picking sides, I just like, I don't say arguing, but I like seeing people prove themselves each time. And so that's how it would
With
be.
a good debate.
Yeah, with a good debate. I love The Great Debaters was like one of my favorite movies.
I love that movie too.
Yeah, and I had students who, they would say, "Oh, miss, why are you taking their side?" I said, "No, I'm not taking sides. I'm playing devil's advocate so you can strengthen your argument because there's always going to be
Right.
somebody who opposes you. So
Right.
I'm going to say the opposite, and I want you to prove your point. Like, keep going. Like, we're going to go back and
Right.
forth." And so the mindset, like the thinking, where's your mind at all the time? So people be like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong? No, it's not what's wrong with you. It's that y'all got two different, Mercury signs. You got two different emotional signs. You got two different. So just find somebody who has a compatible sign. Now, mathematically, could they match every single one in every single area? I don't know if you could find that person, if they even exist. I don't know.
Right. Like mathematically, does that exist? So does it come to a point where you just like, because I've been in relationships where I try to understand the person so much, but at the same time, I'll be like, I don't think we're compatible. And I've only done a full birth chart on one person, to be honest, that that I recently did, and I was just like, yo, I think you need like a Scorpio.
Yeah.
And they took that in such offense to the point where I was just like, never mind. Just saying, like, it looks, but they're not into astrology as much as me.
Yeah. And so
So that be the part.
yeah, that's a big thing too. I've talked to all kind of couples, people who are on the brink of divorce and stuff like that. I was like, if you're not on the same spiritual level, that there's no way I could like just sit here quiet every day and never talk about astrology because you don't believe in it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do it. If I want to mention
And it's
it,
not even that I can't talk about it. It's just there's no conversation as I talk about it. It's just like, oh, okay, so what that mean? Okay, that's what's up. It's never like, hey, did you know the full moon's coming up? We should do like
yeah,
a meditation. Did you know that it's in Taurus? Did you know that it's a lunar eclipse? Like we need to level up and do this. Like I would love to hear that from my partner to like be like, oh, okay, cool. We can both manifest. We can both do this. We can both like, but no,
yeah, that's really frustrating. And I think now I start everything now to me is astrology, is signs, it's energy. Like I'll see you up on the stage, I'll be like, she's such a Gemini. Like that's communication. She's delivering poetry, writing, like books, literature. That's Gemini energy. And so that's how I look at people now. Anytime they do something, I'm like, oh, that's that Pisces coming out. That's that, Sagittarius coming out. And you start to
right.
do that. And that's how I talk now. That's how I talk. So the person next to me needs to be able to at least understand or want to learn. Do you want to learn it? Are you asking questions, or are you just like, oh, that's cool, or that's not real? Or when people become dismissive
I
of,
can't do that's not real. I can't do that part. That's like a we can't go no further, love. Like
all right, well, you have a good day.
right, you have a
Yeah.
peaceful life.
Do you ask people like, kind of like, I want to say first day, first words coming out of your mouth, but how do you bring that up? Like, do you just say, do you believe in astrology, or do you kind of like start doing things and gauge like where they're headed?
First I ask questions like, like how many siblings do you have?
Mhm.
Are you the oldest or the youngest?
Mhm.
And then I'll be like, okay. And then I ask them like their goals and
Mhm.
everything, and like what they value, this, that, and the third. And then by the time we then got through these type of conversations, the way that they communicate, I'll be like, what are you? Scorpio. I'll just throw it out there. And
Uh-huh.
they'd be like, what? Why are you trying to guess me? And I'm just like, I can feel it. Like, what you got? Like, what you got up in you? Like, what you doing? I'll make it really flirty more so than just straight up be like, are you in astrology? You know? Like, I'll be like, what's that? What's that? You got some Aries in you? So what you doing?
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, you trying to say I'm fiery? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you know a little something. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so that's the way that I introduce it into a conversation.
Yeah.
Because guys be like, why are you trying to get to know what I am? And blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. I had that on a photo shoot. Some dude was like, he was talking and talking and talking. And I was just like, what's your sign? All I did was ask him what his sign. He was just like, oh, here we go. Now you're going to try to judge and see. I was just like, dang, he must be a bad sign. And he said, I'm a Gemini. And I was just like, I was like, me too. And he was just like, but you know how girls are. They want to see if you're compatible. I said, trust me though. I did not want to see if we were compatible. I just wanted to see
Not you.
how,
Yeah.
why you're creative, how you create, and why you're communicating the way you're communicating. Because we're here right now. And I want to get to know you. I don't want to just be like, take my picture.
Yeah.
Like, so.
Yeah, I do like to look into the mind of people. I was watching some designer yesterday. I guess he worked for like Supreme and then he quit and whatever. He's telling a story and I was like, I wonder what his sign is. You know, because it does take a different mindset. There are people who I did a reading with a girl who was like had like no creative placements. She was very like mathematical, logistical, like all about numbers,
Wow.
accounting. Like she's like, I am, you know. So there are some people who don't have that. So whenever they do, or whenever they are like that, you know, what kind of combination creates a person who's into numbers and, you know, data inputting and problem solving? Like that's a whole nother thing there. There's a whole nother combination for more creative people too. But with the thing that you said earlier with the guy, I have seen like on Twitter, especially when guys will be like, oh, if she asks what's your sign, you know, run, or you know, something like
When
that.
she asked what time you was born,
Oh yeah.
I've seen that one run
Yeah.
because that makes it even more like, oh no, I want to know your rising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it makes a difference. Like I've always tell people, just because you don't believe in it, don't mean it's not real.
I tell people just because you don't believe in it, that don't mean it don't believe in you.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Because it
you
doesn't
cannot
need you to
believe in
believe
it.
in it. It
Yeah.
doesn't need you.
Yeah.
It's still about to do what you don't think. The sun's still about to rise. The moon's still about to go. It's not gonna stop. The clouds might be there, but they temporary. So, baby,
The moon
keep
will
living.
still be in Taurus, even if you don't believe in it. Yeah,
Come
like
on now.
you're not gonna. Yeah, I was like, so I had somebody, I don't even know this person, but they're always sending me stuff to like get me to like not believe in astrology. Like, I said, look, I've done too many of these readings and gotten too many reviews back of people, strangers, are like, oh, this is so accurate. This was so crazy. Like, I can't believe you know this. For you to come to me and try to present me with a video from some TikTok person that's like, astrology is fake. It's like, well, then what about all these people here? What do stop? Like, I finally sent a message and I was like, I don't know what your goal is here, but it's not gonna work. Like,
He must be a Taurus. No, I'm just joking.
I do believe it is a Taurus. It's a Taurus. Honestly, like I was looking at, because I have this book right here that I have. So it's on body types based off of your zodiac signs and how, you know, you just by looking at somebody, I can like, okay, I can tell what their big three is. I'm gonna show you. I haven't shown anybody. That's how I'd be guessing people. So you got Earth, that's like, you know, like stocky, kind of like the brawny man. Then you got water, has a slower metabolism, and they're like a little short. They might be shorter, they might be a little bit chunkier.
Yeah.
Air, is tall and skinny. I'm Aquarius, and Aquarius is the tallest of the signs. I was a giant in school. And then fire is the athletic type of people. So, you know, they can be, you
And
know.
growing up, I was super skinny, bony. Like everybody, my uncle nickname was Long Legs.
Yeah. Yeah, they would call me, I got called giraffe. I got called, because I probably wasn't even much shorter than I am. I'm only 5'7". I say only 5'7". I'm 5'7". But people are much shorter than me, especially Mexican people. They're like,
Right.
they're
I was
like,
about to say you a giant and your people,
yeah.
y'all definitely a giant. My best friend, she's on the cusp. She's a Cap Aquarius.
Mhm.
And she's 5'11",
Oh,
and she's Chicana.
yeah.
And I'd be like, "Is all your family like this?" She was like, "No." I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so funny though.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of weird. Like, and then sometimes, I look at people and I'm like, okay, they're tall, but they might be, a different sign. But it's what what is more of your chart? Is it more water? Even you can be a Leo, but you got all this water. You might be a little chunky and short, but
right.
you're Leo. So it's weird though. It's so crazy because I'll look at someone and be like, "Are you a?" They're like, "How you know that?" I'm like, and I don't want to be like, "Cause you overweight." But it's like
Because you're a
because
little stalky. Looking
yeah,
at
are you you Cancer?
right.
Yeah, so it's so interesting, like the depth of like the knowledge that you can people just got to open up a book.
That's it. I
Just
got
open up a
several.
book.
Several books, but mine, I know intuition was one of my gifts, because I used to go to a tarot reader, and they told me I was a reader, and I was just like, okay. And she was just like, ask me something, like think about some things, like just kind of channel what I'm going through, different things. And I was telling her, and she was just like, yeah. She was like, just know that the tarot cards are just tools. You're already a reader because you can read people without it. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, my friends was just asking me, like, do a reading for me. Do a reading for me. Cause I just bought the cards for a music video. And then they was just like, no, just like do a reading. And every time, and I would be like, okay, what's your signs? Like, I had to get to know the signs of them. I got to know them deeply, to the point where I realized the friends that didn't want to do the readings with me, I was just like, oh, something's off with them and they don't want me to know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I have seen so much stuff. I did one guy, he was sweating so bad. He said he was gonna post it because he wanted to record it. So we recorded it, but the forehead was sweating like real bad.
And you
I've
said Aries sweat bad, right?
well, Aries is the athletic type.
The head, you said the head, they
Oh, they
sweat.
ruled, yeah, they ruled the
They
head.
roll the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of
Oh,
my best
I don't know
friends.
about the sweating part, but this guy was just nervous because
Okay.
I was like, oh, I've had somebody who obviously I won't mention who, but they but they had a placement where it would indicate possible like work romance, and they talked about how they were with someone at the time, married, and then they found someone
Mm,
else at work, and so when you learn your energies, I think that you learn them to be able to balance them out, not so much to like be like, oh well, that's my placement, and that's how I'm going to be, because
right.
everybody can't handle it, and being aware of like, okay, if I know I'm more prone to this energy, let me make sure I don't do nothing, because there are very karmic signs, and some people have a lot of karmic energy that
Thanks.
they start to do things thinking there's no repercussion, or like I'm not gonna, that's gonna happen to me if I do this, or I told one guy that did a reading with last week who was actually in prison for a while, and I looked at his chart and I was like, well, this placement does indicate solitude, prison, some kind of confinement. And when you learn that about yourself, doesn't mean you're going to go to jail, but it means that if two of y'all are committing a crime, you are probably the one who's going to get caught or get in trouble. That's just
Mm,
that energy that, some people possess. So, I never tell anyone this is going to happen to you. It's more of like,
right.
you're more prone to this type of stuff. So don't think you can get away with it. Don't think you can, as much as you want to believe. I'm telling you.
Stay on the path. Stay on the
Yeah.
path.
Stay
Right.
in alignment. That's, I think, obviously that's the most difficult thing for a lot of people living in this material realm. Everybody's, especially with the economy, how it is, people are doing whatever they need to do to get what they need to get. Now,
No.
something like this, but I'm gonna say, y'all, just some of you are not as able to get away with things as other people. So that's why I
You know,
encourage.
I've been told that a lot. But I've been told a lot, like, well, you can do that, Richelle, because you could get away with that.
Yeah.
I've been
Some
told
people
that
can. Yeah.
so much, to the point where I'd be like, I wasn't trying to do anything facetious though. Like, that's the thing. I I do believe everybody can work in their lower self with all the signs that they have, or you can work in your higher self.
Mhm.
And I continuously do my best to stay in my higher realm because I just know it's better karma. Yeah, I know it's better feeling, better peace
Yeah.
in my life. So, one example is OnlyFans. I did OnlyFans until like maybe like a year and a half, but OnlyFans called me. They
Mhm.
said, Richelle, we're changing our platform. And I was just like, I got the email and I was like, this is a joke. Like, no, this is not OnlyFans. Then I look at the email and it's just like such and such at OnlyFans. And I was like, oh, okay, this might be OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And they was like, can we set up a Zoom meeting? We got you connected to one of our relations agents and da 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 da. And I was just like, let me just see what's going on. And then I do it. And then, I bring all my poetry over there. I bring like all kind of like all I for a long time I didn't post nothing sexy on Instagram. I just posted anytime I was like, oh, I feel cute. Let me post it over there. And I get the tips over there. I get all that over there. And it wasn't until earlier this year with Fox 26, we talked about passport bros. And all the passport bros were trying to find stuff on me. And because I didn't even talk bad about them. All I said was, you don't have to say what you like and then say what you don't like. Like, you don't have to do all that. Just go find your love. Be cool,
Yeah.
be chill. Like, heal from your
Yeah.
rejection. It was like, rejection, rejection. She has 2 kids by 2 dads and an OnlyFans. And I was just like, any part of my family that was just like, you have an OnlyFans? I was like, go check it out. Like, the fuck? And then they were like, I don't need to check it out. Everybody under the
Yeah.
YouTube said it was weak. And I was just like, I know it's y'all. But then my other people would be like, see, you're the only person that could probably get away with having the OnlyFans, but still come on here and speak some type of like political, powerful, or whatever stuff that you want to talk about else. And I was just like, that's because I'm myself everywhere. I'm not just about to be like, oh yeah, over here you're gonna get this side. Like, no.
I think, and that was another, I did want to mention, because you said that some people have, felt before, you learn yourself, you probably feel shame for things that you've done sometimes, or,
Yep.
there's just some people have different type of energy. Like I said, like, why are people strippers? Why are they, and these kind of,
Oh yeah.
but it's that, let's say they have like a lot of Scorpio energy in them, or, there's a reason why people gravitate towards what they gravitate towards. Now, should you do things like that? There's obviously consequences, like, STDs and, getting beat down by the pimp or something like that, but there's a give and take, and, what are you willing to, but there's a reason why. It's not
Right.
every person, just going to do that, or everybody has some type of energy that makes them be like, okay, maybe I should, whether it's
Right.
money, it could be a money thing. It could be because they feel like they look good and they want to post themselves. It could be a whole number of reasons, but there's always a reason.
Right.
Some people are more inclined to get money or whatever by any means necessary. So if
Right.
OnlyFans is the way, okay, they might not be Scorpio. They might just have they might just be a lot of Earth energy, and they're just trying to get what they say, to get the bag, try to.
I only have Scorpio in my Pluto.
Yeah, and millennials are all born under that Pluto Scorpio energy, and which is why a lot of millennials are always talking about OnlyFans or relationship podcasts or sex podcasts. Like, that's the type of energy we're all born under.
So all of us have Pluto and
Yeah, if
Scorpio.
you're born between 83 and 95, yeah, we're all of us.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So that's like a big thing in our, age group. And then Gen Z is born under Pluto and Sagittarius. So they're all the Sagittarius is like the traveling, the being free spirited, YOLO type of, I got like 4 Sagittarius placements. So I'm always like, just go have fun, spend it. Who cares? No, don't save nothing. Just go.
Right.
So that's the type that they're against all kind of traditional things. It's all about Sagittarius, is all about like philosophy, foreign culture, long distance traveling. So they're like, I'm in Dubai, I'm in, over here. Like, that's their energy. And so that's the part where I see online a lot of times within, like, let's say our parents' age group, and they'll look at a Gen Z and they'll be like, oh, they're lazy, or, oh, they just want to work from home, remote. Like, well, yeah, because they want to be on the other side of the world. And
Right.
that's because they naturally have that energy in them. And I had my students, they were all in Gen Z, and I used to be like, y'all so lazy. Y'all went back in my day, you know, we always
Right.
we used to
They be
keep
like, what do
book.
I need? I got calculators, I got
Yeah,
computers, I got chat GPT, I got this, all these
yeah,
things. It's like, you know, just to I do my best to keep my sons off of different things, but still aware of everything. I just be like, all right, you can do that for a second, but go back outside, go outside.
yeah, yeah.
You
Still
know,
hold on to there's
that
still
balance,
value. Yeah,
that
there's still
balance.
value in like going outside and playing and detaching from the phone. And you see like kids like start crying and going all crazy because they don't have the
What?
phone.
I would go off of my child. Like, I don't even go off of my children. My son, he was just like, "Mom, I remember the last time you got mad at me, it was like 2.5 years ago." And I was just like, because I don't really have to get mad at y'all. Y'all, we talk, we understand each other, we explain how our emotions are at that moment. But you know, I just feel like it's our duty not to become a Wally generation. Like, you know, the movie Wally, where they're just like all huge and they're just sitting on their things and they don't even know
Yeah.
there's a pool right there, and
It's
they're
so
just
bad.
looking at their screens and letting the whole like ship like control them. And I'm just like, yeah, no, we got to break free.
That's what it looks like we're going to right now. I see crazy stuff all the time. I'm just like, why? But then I have to go back to what are their placements? What would make somebody think that? What would make somebody do that? Why don't they have intuition? Why don't they? So there's a part of me that's like lives in reality and looking at just the day to day and the other parts of astrology. It's like it literally is somebody's makeup of why they do those things, why they don't have awareness. You know, they're born like that, or they, you know, chemicals
Right.
and all this stuff's messing them up. But it's I have to be like, okay, listen, you know, everybody don't got that. Everybody don't have,
Right.
you know, those placements. Everybody don't got water placements, you know, to have intuition and awareness
That
like that.
patience. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Is there any sign that you tend to gravitate towards and ones that you kind of stay away from that you don't really click? I know it's like the whole person is not just a sun sign, but usually people are like, nah, I don't mess with Gemini's no more, or whatever.
I don't, and again, the thing is, it's not that I don't like them, I just don't vibe with them heavily. Taurus.
Mm.
I've had friends that are Taurus that I'd be like, okay, I don't think we're friends anymore. I have cousins that I got raised like sisters, and we never all the way like after family time. It's not like we'd be like, okay, so when we gonna hang out? Okay, let's go hang out. Let's go to the movie. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Um, Now the ones that I am that come around me a lot, Virgos come
Mm.
around me a lot. My brother's a Virgo. Some of my friends are Virgos. It's like I give them their fun. I feel like it, and they give me more like an order kind of thing, because they'll be
Yeah.
like, "Okay, what time are we leaving, Richelle? What time are we gonna do this?" They'd be like, "What's the real time we're leaving, Richelle?"
Mhm.
Because I know sometimes your time be off, and I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna do my best, and we're
Can't
gonna
help
be
it.
on time." And I was like, "But when we arrive, it's gonna be divine. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be on time, but it's gonna be divine, and we're
Yes.
gonna have a good time. So just go with the flow." I'll be like, they want to know the time of the flow, how we about to flow, what's the. I'll be
Gosh.
like, no, that's not how you flow. You just do this. So I feel like Virgos and Sagittarius. And I have a lot of Aquarius men that I be cool with.
Mm.
Like, they understand me. They'll just be like, let her free, and she'll
Yeah.
call me maybe in 2 weeks. Like, they're not just like,
Yeah.
Richelle, you haven't called me, and da 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 da. Like, a Virgo would be like, Richelle, are you okay? Like, we haven't talked. You know what's going on. You know, I love communication. I love a plan. I love to know where we are, where we
Yeah.
stand every week. And I'll be like, why do we gotta know every time where we
Oh my God.
stand? So
My mom has a couple. She's a Sagittarius, but she has a lot of earth. I mean, it's all earth and one fire. And the time thing that I was thinking, I was like, oh my gosh, she's like that. She'll text me, where are you at? How much time? What's your ETA? I'm like, why do you know? Wow, they're just so like they have to know details. Yeah, they're very detail oriented people that I'm like you. I'll be there around. I mean, I respect people's time, you know, like
right.
how we schedule this, but it's more of like, my dad is notorious because he's a military man. He's early. He gets there early. I say 11.
My dad does too.
10:30. I'm like, okay. I said 11. Why are you there at 10 o'clock? Like, I'm
My
there.
dad will see my son's report card and be like, looks like they got a couple of tardies to me. They got straight A's, but he'll look at the tardies and be like, gotta get them there on time. Gotta do this.
Yeah, that
Gotta
is
make sure they got a schedule.
that's one thing I learned about my own self is like, you know, I don't know what astrologer it was, but it was saying like, you need a job that is not so time restrictive, or that you can control the time, you know, like give people options. Can you do this one, or this one, you know, but not someone telling me you have to be here at this time. And if you're not here at this time, then, you know, you're getting written up and blah, blah, blah. And you know, I was like, I couldn't stand it. I was like, I will do whatever it takes to never have to do that ever again, because I cannot operate in a
Office cubicle.
micromanager too, but somebody, yeah, air cannot be contained. So that's what people need to
I did it for 8 years, and the only thing that gave me peace was that I was still doing my art outside of it, and that everybody else knew at the job, Richelle's gonna still do her art. It's like, if she get a call tomorrow, she's gonna be gone. But at the same time, I knew that I was just like, look, I'm gonna do my job here. Like, I'll do what I need to do. But do y'all understand what I'm doing? I had the director come to one of my shows, and he was just like, okay, yeah, you're supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you for understanding. My lunches might be a little long because I might go to a studio. I might go do this. Like, I worked at Memorial Herman, and I would go escape to the Japanese garden every lunch or smoke break, because they didn't know if I smoked cigarettes. And a lot of the nurses and all of them got to get smoke breaks. So I'd be like, I'm gonna go take my smoke break. And they'd be like, Michelle, you don't even smoke cigarettes. And I'd be like, you don't know that. I could spiritually smoke cigarettes. I gotta go. And my spiritual cigarette would be going to the Japanese garden, walking around that garden. I knew every person that worked there. I was just like, welcome to my garden. I would just be in my own little mind. And then I would go back into the cubicle and be like, here we go.
I think it's wild that they even have smoke breaks. Like, that's crazy to me. And I'm just like, what? You get an extra break because you smoke? Like, who made that a thing?
Somebody in the 1940s.
Like, okay. Anyways, I digress. But
they used to do it in the hospital.
That it's a hospital. That's even more crazy too.
Right.
But I did want to mention, because you said the job allowing, well, let's say allowing you, but you're doing both. And I've told people, like, if you have to work a job, which of course I did for many, many years, if they don't allow you to operate in your gift, then you really need to go. You know, if you need to work a 9 to 5, work a 9 to 5, but can you do your own thing? Like how I was doing, I was literally doing TMZ interviews in my classroom, telling the kids, hey, shut up. I'm about to go live. So you don't talk right now, okay? Or I would go and tell a teacher to cover my class while I go do, you know, whatever. Like, I'm doing both at the same time. And I'm putting your work to the side to do mine. That's what's because when you don't operate in the gift that you were given, you start to feel lost. And you're like, what is my purpose? What am I doing here? Like, I want to do this, but, and also I know everyone doesn't have the, I'm gonna say the will to even be an entrepreneur, or it doesn't mean that everybody has to be, because we still need people to work. But those who really, really want to, like, some people do have it in them. Like, yeah, you have, and once you learn your chart and once you learn yourself, you're like, oh, you have more confidence. Like, oh, I can do this on my own. I can be an entrepreneur. I do have that in me, you know. But it's the societal condition of like, you have to work and we have to keep up with all these bills and all these things, the internet and this and that and stuff that I'll say we don't need, because now in this day and age, I need the internet. But like, there's little things that, you know, people feel like they have to have, and they can make those small sacrifices, but we all want big and lavish and, you know, abundant. So it has to be.
We deserve it though.
No, we really do. I feel like everybody should live their best life. That's why you know, I encourage people, don't be, you know, irresponsible, but, you know, take that trip, you know, stop worrying so much about how, just go and do it. Things will align the way that they're supposed to.
They really will, every time.
Yeah.
And I I could say this year has been such an aligning year because I remember just being like, oh man, that'd be nice to go to the Beyonce concert. And then all of a sudden I got VIP situation and I went and I was just like, that would be so cool to see Janelle Monáe live.
Yeah.
And then my homie at 97.9 was like, hey, you want these free tickets to see Janelle Monáe? And then when I was going there, I was just like, I feel like we're gonna end up backstage. And then we were backstage.
Oh my gosh, it would be
Like,
so cool if it went backstage.
it literally, as we're picking up the tickets in will call, we meet one of the family and friends. And the family and friends like, how you get your tickets first? And I was like, because I'm that one out here. What are you talking about? And he was just like, what you do? And I started telling him what I do. And it's funny because my homegirl that with me was the Virgo, and she was just like, don't tell him everything. Don't tell him what we do. No, no. And I'm over here just like, no, we can be free, right? We had a concert. You never know what could happen. Like, I'm just like talking to her and ended up backstage, had a great time. And, you know, I just, Z-Way, the Z-Way thing came out of nowhere too. And I was just like, yeah, I want to see Z-Way. I've seen some fantastic performances this year. And it's inspired me. Like, I feel like I've learned more about myself to the point where now I'm just like, okay, I know how I want to put out my next form of art. I feel evolved. So
that's good.
yes.
Yeah. It's when you learn yourself, you learn like I talked to a guy yesterday who told me that he had when he was 19, you know, he caught a felony and he couldn't put his name on an application. From there on out, it was like, because you know they're gonna look at you and be like, oh nah, you ain't getting this job because of your
right.
And so he said his entire, you know, he's like 50 now, his entire existence has been him talking his way, learning his gift of communication and having several placements in the Gemini house. He said I would just like finesse. Like I just knew I could talk my way into things. Somebody would open the door for me, you know, and let me in or let me get like, or talk your way out of things, do stuff.
Right.
I always tell people, do it first, apologize later, you know, ask
right.
for forgiveness later. Oh, my bad. I didn't know I couldn't go backstage.
I didn't know. I'm crazy. I don't know. My bad. You know.
Sorry. Yeah, so
or I either I say sorry, I'll be like, no, I belong back here. I didn't turn into that. I didn't turn into that.
I like
no,
that.
I'm supposed to be
like
back here. Like that's what are you talking about? Like,
yeah.
Oh, you don't know me. Okay, it's okay. Let me tell you who I am. Now I feel more confident in that area. You know, you know Shantae, DJ Shantae?
Yeah.
Another Sag that's been in my life. And I remember she was like, come to this concert, da 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 da. I was like, all right, cool. We go to the concert and I'm waiting for her at the front. And she was just like, why you didn't just walk in? And I was like, oh, my bad. She was like, get out the line. Like, come on. Walk in. And I'm like, okay, I am going to be more fiery and say I'm supposed to be here and walk in. So, you know, as you learn yourself more and your value in the spaces that you're in, you start realizing like, I belong here. No apologies.
Yes. That's like, when you, like you said, when you learn yourself, you're like, okay, I know I have this, so let me use it. You know, I got the communication. Let me use it. Let me see if I can talk my way. Now, it doesn't say it's going to work every single time, you know, because there are other people who can trump over your energy too and be like, nah, I'm the boss, you know, I am the,
right.
You know, but you could try. But usually when you learn, you know, how you operate, everything from your birthday, like the number, like what is it? What day were you born?
14.
The 14. Okay, so you're 5. So like when you learn that, what does a 5 mean? And you start, 5 is Mercury. 5 is, do you say think quick on your feet?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's why I freestyle.
Yeah. Okay. So a 5 person, a 5 is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the fast, like it's a fast moving planet. It rules over Gemini and Virgo. So it's quick thinking on your feet. If you can freestyle, you know, people probably who are the best freestylers are probably born on a 5-day, you know, it's that type. Once you learn those things, you're like, that's why I can do this. That's why I can do this. That's why I'm able to whatever. So this is like my whole thing with this is like, don't look at this like it's some kind of scary witchcraft, blah, 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 whatever. It's mathematics, like everything in astrology, numerology, it's all mathematical design. That's all it is. The scary witchy part, they tell you that so that you can't, though you don't look at it, so you don't know how to
yourself.
Yeah, and you don't know how to use it. Like, you don't think people who are rich and wealthy learn this stuff so that they can know how to
They do.
navigate their way up? It's not
They
just
do.
luck and hard work. It's like, how do I strategically do this to where I'm avoiding the Taurus, avoiding,
Right.
like, when's your birthday? May? Nah, I'm good. Like, you just know how to move, how to maneuver. So that was my other question, is like, how, have you used it? I would say, how do you use astrology? How to use any kind of like knowledge, this ancient knowledge, like on your, I would say even day to day, how do you incorporate it, or do you incorporate it regularly with people?
I do. I incorporated, raising my children. I have a Virgo and a Scorpio. The
Mm.
Scorpio is more susceptible to listen and more like submissive, I say.
Yeah.
But he's still like a strong boy, but he's like submissive. Like the Virgo will be like, no, that's not how it goes.
Yeah.
This is how you do it. And he'd be like, okay, AJ, I'll do it like this. And I'm like, you're the oldest. Stand up to him. Don't let
Yeah.
him tell him what to do. And then
Yeah.
I'll have to stand up for him and be like, hey, hey,
Yeah.
leave him alone. Don't talk to him like that. But the crazy part is they both have their Venus in Libra. So they both like to be loved the same, but at the same time, the way that they express themselves, my oldest also, his moon is in Cancer. So he's more like, don't talk to me like that, AJ. I don't like that. It doesn't feel good. And then he'll just be like, look, I'm just trying to tell you how it goes. You got to work hard. You got to do
Yeah.
this. You got
Does
to.
the other one have a Virgo, what's his moon sign? Do you remember?
His moon sign is Libra.
Oh, okay.
It's mine. He has my Libra moon
Uh,
sign.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the moon is connected to the mother, and how the mother is with each kid. So the Cancer moon is like, you're more nurturing with him, or a little bit more, he's more
I am.
sensitive, like a
I
little bit more
am.
sensitive and stuff. And
And he
then
loves a good experience. So if it's a movie night, he wants to have like the pallets on the ground and the popcorn and candy and know that we're about to do something together. And he loves that.
yeah.
The Virgo, he wants to
Mhm.
everybody look at me while I'm doing something that I know I'm smart at. Like, because he also has Gemini and he has a Gemini rising. And I'm just like, okay, let's see how you say this and communicate this. He might not need help with his homework, but he's gonna be like, Mom, I need some help.
Mhm.
8 times 4 is 48, and 7 times 8 is 56, and 9 times 7 is 70. 9 times 8 is 72. Guess I didn't need your help. And I'll be like, why did you ask me? Your brother really does need help. Why did you just make me come over here? Just
Yeah.
because you wanted me to pay attention to while you do your homework,
To
more
keep
so
you
than yeah, that's it. And I'm just like, okay, thank you for giving us a whole math concert. I appreciate you. He'll like Rubik's Cube. He's like a Rubik's Cube master.
Yeah.
And I just be like, wow, you really took your time and learned that. And he loves to teach. But I be telling him, you're going to have to learn how to make sure you're a good teacher. I was like, because you might be nice to other kids, but to your son, to your own brother, you'll be like, no, nigga, don't do it like that. No, don't
Yeah.
do it like that. And I was like that with my brother a little bit, but we were 5 years apart. And it's a girl and a boy. Like y'all both homies. Like y'all should talk to each other like homies. And I feel like it might come later, but sometimes I'll be like, you are wilding and you need to go ahead and hit him one time. Like, what is going on?
I've actually done a few, podcasts where I'll mention the Gemini child, or the Gemini rising child, because I had one of my friends, her child is a Gemini rising. And when we were
Ooh.
on the phone, I was trying to explain to her a little bit, because she wasn't that big into astrology, but her daughter was in the phone, mommy, why? Like asking all these questions. I was like, what is her sign? I was like, this girl's a Gemini. I know she's a Gemini. And she's like, oh, I don't know that stuff. She's like, let me go see. My sister's into that. And she's like, she's Gemini rising. I was like, okay, that's why she keeps asking all them questions. And
Right.
that's a curious sign. They want to know everything. They want to learn.
He does.
So it's funny how you're saying he's like, all into, but having Virgo and Gemini, that's a lot of like
Mine.
mental, yeah, that's a lot of like a mental like stimulation right there. That's just ding, ding, ding,
He
ding.
asks a lot of
Yeah.
questions. Like my son, the Scorpio, I told you my dad's a pastor. The Scorpio was just like, I'm gonna get baptized And I don't know how you feel about that. And I was like, I feel fine. If you want to get baptized, get baptized. And he was just like, okay, I just didn't want to make you mad. And I'm like, you're not gonna make me mad if you get baptized. Like, it's at Papa Church. I love Papa. And he was just like, okay, all right. We can still do the manifesting stuff though. And I was just like, all right, cool. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
then AJ, he was like, the Virgo was like, do you think I should get baptized?
He's
What do you
thinking about
think?
it. Yeah.
What do you think about God? What do you think about this? He was just like, because you told me God lived inside of me, so we can do, anything and this, that, and the third. He was just like, but Papa's telling me this, and how do you feel about this? And then my oldest, he's like, it would be nice though to taste those crackers and the juice.
Like
And I'm just like to hear both of their sides,
yeah.
like his Cancer moon is just like, I want to eat some food like everybody else, and
Yeah.
just be in the mix. And he's just like, should I do this? Because I want to make sure like I'm doing this right. Because I don't know. Because I've told them about a lot of religions. And I told them about a lot of things, just because I'm just like, y'all gonna run into a lot of different people, and I want you to always be yourself. But you don't have to judge nobody. You don't have to make fun of nobody. You don't have to say your way is the only way. You don't have to do that. But I do believe knowing the stars, the sun, and the moon is the only way, because
Like, don't judge, but this is the right one.
it is, because it's the most consistent thing we've seen as much as people have been on Earth. Nobody has came back and said, yeah, bro, come up here. Like, make sure you believe in that because heaven is for real. Or make sure you believe in this because reincarnation is happening right now. Or do you believe in it? Like, nobody has came back and said that. I've had, people in my family different ways. And now that I know signs, I can see like the ways that they've tried to come and tell me, like, Richelle, your grandma has always believed in God and look where it got her. And I'm like, she's not here. No, nobody that y'all keep saying is here to come tell me anything.
Yeah.
And the way that they left was cancer, heart disease, liver failure. It was not no like immaculate situation where I'm just like, you know what? She did leave in a chariot and it was like beautiful and it was crazy. So I'm gonna believe, okay, fine. So yeah, the religious intimidation, I just don't want them to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And that part I think I've succeeded at. Everything else, work out. Like, my son is like a big workout head. And whenever y'all said that sixth house, that's what y'all said, in the sixth house, then you really like to work out. And I haven't went to go see, but I was like, I bet he got some stuff in the sixth house, because he is like, look at these abs. This is how you get these abs. He's 10. And I'm just like, oh my God.
The Virgo?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, because Virgo rules the sixth house of work, routines, health, holistic things. So they are, I know Virgo rising for sure, like they really are very critical of their body. So they're always like looking at it, making sure it's operating right and looking right. And, yeah, they're very much like that.
Yeah. And I'd be like, calm down, okay?
Yeah.
Enjoy life. He even came to me and said, I'm gonna do a candy fast for a whole week. I said, all right, that sounds dope. Like, don't eat no sweets. I was like, I'm gonna remind you. And he lasted 2 days, and he was just like, I feel like I really failed. And I was just like, you did it for 2 days. I was like, when I started water fasting, I would only do it for 1 day. Then I got to 3 days. Then I got to 7 days. Then I got to 8 days. And I was like, that's over a span of 2016 to now. So be gracious with yourself. So
Yeah.
Virgos need to learn grace with themselves a lot.
That's good though. Like you allow them to be themselves because you know where it's coming from. You can be like me being an Aquarius, I'm very much like freedom, whatever. But seeing like somebody like a Capricorn who's like very like all about work and work hard and it's just so serious. I'm super serious. Like my sister's a Capricorn. So but she's an Aquarius moon. So she's not as much like that, but let's say they have like all earth or whatever. And they're very much about the tangible things. When you don't know astrology, you start to be like, well, what you are striving for is wrong because, I don't like material items. So, why do you? And that's not right. And, but when you learn that, it could be, it could annoy you a little bit, but you're not going to correct them and say,
Right.
don't be like that, because they're going to be like that. If you have
Right.
your Scorpio sun has Scorpio's water, and water, he's going to be more emotionally intuitive and aware and more sensitive, whether it's like sad or happy or whatever, but that sensitivity is just going to be more, as opposed to the other one who's like earth and air, you know, just a little bit more like, because you said he was like taking your feelings into consideration. That's water energy. It's all about the feelings. The air sign is just going to ask questions, and is it logical? Does it make sense?
Right.
That's the difference between the two. So that's also like, you know, the difference between again, looking for a partner. Do I want a sensitive man, or do I want somebody who's like, you know, smart and, you know, books and all this kind of stuff? You got to look at the type of energy. You can't change that energy. And that's what every time somebody walks by, there's the lights go on and off. I said something very profound.
It did, you
The
did.
antennas.
Because as soon as you said it, I was just like, ooh, I remember dating these Capricorns, and they were just so like, ah, and I was just like, I don't know, I'm chilling. Like,
Yeah.
why are you so serious? Like, I
Yeah,
don't give a
it's not that
fuck.
serious. Yeah, no, it's just like, but again, you just learn the energy of the signs, and you learn how people operate, and you just kind of leave them alone. Astrology has made me more non-judgmental than I was when I was in church. In church, I was like, I can't believe you're not going to church. Like,
Right.
you're sinners and, you know, whatever. And now I'm looking at people, and you know, you can tell people, make them aware of their behaviors. You know, like I said, it's not to say like, oh, I can be like this and everyone should just accept it, because no, you got to find balance in everything.
Right.
But you just kind of just let people be, and you're like,
Right.
oh, you want a Rolls Royce? Okay, well, it's because you're Taurus and they like earthly things. And okay, go.
Right.
You want to live on the beach and do nothing? Oh, it's because you're like hippie. You know, you're just like the Pisces. You just want to be left alone,
Yeah.
and, you know, live in that. And then I never understood when I would see like in the 60s when, you know, everyone was on those kind of vibes. I got to look at what energy they were all born under, because they were all about the freedom and smoking
Right.
weed and doing all this kind of stuff. And I just know now, I know where it comes from. It's probably just their astrological makeup, that they're just like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't, this isn't my thing. But
Right.
they're all forcing us, all of us, to do the same thing.
They
You know,
are.
so people,
Learn the same way, learn the same thing, be on the same time.
we're
Just it's pretty crazy. And I tell my sons all the time, if we show up late to school, I'll be like, don't worry, you're gonna be the boss one day. So it's okay, I can show up a little late. But be focused when y'all get inside. Be very focused when you
yeah.
get inside.
You just
And
have to, yeah, to teach them how to, you know, maneuver around people.
gratefully their teachers are like, they'll come to the car and I'll be like, oh, they're about to tell me they're gonna be late. And their teachers be like, oh my God, I just saw you in the movie. And I'll be like, oh, okay, yay,
Yeah.
thanks, okay, bye. And
Yeah.
then and then the principal come up and be like, were you in that commercial? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, all right, bye. And I'm just like, all right, cool. Whew.
Yeah.
Thought they was gonna come say, stop making them be late. But yeah, no, it's been a joy, you know, watching them. I think that was a perfect match the universe gave me, Scorpio and Virgo, because I don't know what other signs I could have, because of Cancer, full Cancer, I don't know if I could have done it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, stop whining. I used to be
Oh
telling,
my
I didn't
God.
tell my mom stop whining. I'd just be like, why did you say it like that? You could have just said wash the dishes, or you could have just said, she'll come in from work like, I just worked all day and all I ask is for y'all to do this. And then I'd be like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
just tell us to do it. We've been at school all day. I just finished homework. Like,
Cancer
my
is
bad.
known Cancer is known to be a manipulator and a guilt trip. Like a guilt trip is a big thing for Cancer placements. I wasn't talking to this person, but I knew a Cancer man, and I remember one time he was like, he called me and he was crying, and I like literally opened the phone. I was like, we're not doing this. Like, why are you crying? This is weird. This is uncomfortable. Like, no.
Right.
That was the end of that. I was like, we're not about to
No.
cry. Like, you can have feelings. I'm human. I cry, but
Right.
we're not doing
Stop it.
it. Stop. Like, no. But yeah, that was funny. But if there's anything you could tell the average person who's kind of peeking into astrology, what would you tell them?
I
And
would
why?
I would tell them, don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Okay, that's a
Don't be
good.
scared. To know thyself is to really get to know thyself. And the phrase that I think of all the time: to know and not to do is not to know.
Mhm.
And once I know, I do it as quickly as possible as I can, because application will help you your elevation.
Mhm.
So as soon as I know, like, oh, okay, my boundary needs to be right here because this is how I operate. So I need people to know, like, I'm not about to do all that. No, don't look for me to be excited to plan with you. Like, I'm not about to be excited to financially plan with you. Like, it's not for me, but I will do it. But you better come to me in a high vibrational way. Don't be like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but we do need to talk about these finances right now and blah 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 blah. And it's just like, why? What? It should be a joy to take care of me. Come on, what are we talking about? Like, come on, let's be excited to talk about how we taking care of stuff. Like, it's a way to talk to me about certain stuff. So yeah, don't be scared, and don't be scared to learn the people you are around,
Mhm.
because it don't
Yes,
just start with you. It
yes,
start with the people you have around you.
yes.
So
Yes, that is I could go on about that, but yes, learning the people who are closest to you and how they operate and what's really probably going on in their mind because they don't want to tell you, you know. But again, realizing that's who they are, learning your own life path, learning what you're more prone to, and removing other people from blame. When things happen
mm,
to you, let's say that like and here I go talking again, air sign. So I was trying to wrap it up. I was like, the example that I gave about the guy that's in jail, whatever. He could easily have said, well, this person is the reason why this happened to me. This person is the reason why they should. No one's really thinking that depth of like, no, this is your life path. This is what you're going to be more prone to. So you got to be aware. You cannot blame somebody. No,
that's it. Yeah,
you have that energy that can put you in solitude, real solitude. And if you don't, whatever. I think they need this room.
that
Usually,
kind of bit of.
yeah, usually this room is reserved or whatever. But yeah, so removing yourself, but I don't think people are going to think that deep. I think that deep. I had to stop and reflect and be like, okay, you know, uh, is it this person or is my life path going this way? Does this person
Right.
have to be removed because whatever? Yeah. So, that's my big takeaway with things. But I appreciate you for being here and giving me an hour of your time because
Of course.
time is precious and you can't if time is real, I don't know, what is time? But giving me a moment of your life. So I thank you
Yeah.
very much. And I will most definitely, be talking to you soon.
Okay, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in a writing mode. I just been writing a lot, and not even just. It's so funny because I remember just doing poetry and then starting to do music, and then now my mind is just so open now that I'll be like, you are a communicator. You can write anything. So like I've been writing scripts. I just wrote a children's book called "Don't Tell Your Plans to Ants," and it's about a caterpillar that was trying to befriend ants, and it was just like, you can't tell them your plans. They don't have the same path as you. You got to talk to people that got the same path. So, you know, whatever, you can use my talents in, I'm always down, especially for this cause. This is like my kind of cause, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
of
yeah.
course. All right. Well, I thank you very much. And I
Hmm.
will talk to you soon.